House Republicans launching phase 2 of their investigation into the anti-Trump dossier. They want to know what members of the Obama administration knew and when they knew it. Here to discuss, Congressman Mark Meadows and North Carolina, and Jim Jordan of Ohio. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. Congressman Meadows,
let me be with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Congressman Meadows, let me start with you. So in a letter obtained by Fox News, Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, Republican from California, posed a series of questions about the dossier. What do you anticipate they're trying to find out about who knew what and when?
Well, I think those 10 questions are key, is who in the government knew what, and did they know that the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton had actually paid for it? In the tease that you had with Brennan, here you have an intelligence officer saying that he didn't know where the dossier's origination came from. Well, if he can't find that, he would have a hard time finding terrorists. So, it doesn't pass a smell test. We've got to find out who in the government knew what.
Your reference is to Director John Brennan, who testified in May of 2017 that the Trump dossier was virtually unknown to him. Congressman Jordan, you've been all over this issue as well. Is it conceivable that in light of the case that was built on behalf of the dossier, that the former CIA director would almost know nothing about it?
Well, you would find that hard to believe, but that's what Devin's going to figure out. That's why he sent it to almost 24 members of the government, key people. You can probably guess who they are: State Department people, Justice Department people, FBI people, 24 people. And if they don't give him the answers, he's going to subpoena them. And that's what we have to do to get to the bottom of this. I think there was one other thing last week, Pete, that was really important. Tom Cotton, Senator Cotton's questioning of Director Wray. He asked him about Oleg Deripaska, Russian oligarch, and he said, was Christopher Steele being paid by this Russian oligarch during this time when he was putting together this dossier, which was taken to the FISA court? And Director Wray's response was, I can't talk about that here. We can talk about that in a classified setting. So we don't know if the answer to that question is yes, but if it is, think about this fact. The Clinton campaign paid for the dossier, the Democrat National Committee paid for the dossier, and if a Russian oligarch was paying the author of the dossier at the same time, that is unbelievable. Now, we don't know, but that question, I think, sure raised suspicion and concern, just like this letter that Devin sent with his 10 questions that we got to get the answer to.
Absolutely. Congressman Meadows, just from the conservative perspective, very briefly, we only have 20 seconds here. On the gun debate, what aspect does the Freedom Caucus want to see of anything considered?
Well, I think what you found even as recent as last night, what we do know is the government was notified of a health concern. The government was notified by the FBI. And even last night, we saw a government school resource officer failing to engage. More government doesn't solve the problem.
More government doesn't solve the problem. Sounds exactly like the baseline of what the Freedom Caucus stands for. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Pete.
You got it. All right. Well,